Hi, my name's Leander Bickley. I'm the Head of Partnerships and Fleet for the mobile cancer care charity Hope for Tomorrow. And I'd really like you to meet one of our trustees who is going the distance for the charity. So without further ado, let me introduce Tom. So Tom can give us a little bit of background on why he's a trustee for the charity and why he's going the difference. So hello, Tom.
Hello, Leander. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm Tom McInerney. I am trustee for Hope for Tomorrow. I've worked with the charity for probably about a year now. I'm based in the local area, and I have a business that provides a lot of IT services to the outdoor and kind of venue market. So really quite technical background. I started my business in 2008. Myself and my business partner have grown it now to a reasonable level, that's kind of what encouraged me really to look around and look for charities and other organizations that I could help with that business acumen and also my technical skills. And I was incredibly happy to speak to Tina when she phoned me, and we had an initial chat about how I could help Hope for Tomorrow. And I think when I think about the charity, I am so proud that we're able to offer a service that brings that care directly into the community. I think there's some fantastic charities, of course, operating throughout the UK, all of who do a brilliant job. But I am quite a practical person, and I like to think about things that make a real difference, however small or big that might be. And when I talked to Tina and I had a look around one of the units and I got to know the charity, I became familiar and very impressed with how they were able to really deliver that care to where it's needed. And I think I'm very fortunate. Some of my members of family have been impacted by cancer, but nobody directly. You know, I think one of the things that must be terribly difficult there is traveling long distances, leaving loved ones, having to travel. You know, I just think if you can just make that less and get that care, I think that must make a massive impact. And when I talk to those who've received support from Hope for Tomorrow, I know that they say that, you know, the main thing is the quality of care they get and the fact that care is much more accessible to them, which is fantastic.
Brilliant. Thank you. So how do you feel that as a trustee that you can impact the charity? You know, what would you like? What difference do you like to make?
Sure. Well, that's a great question, Leander. So, I mean, when I work on business problems in my business, I like to keep things really simple, really effective, and really to the point. You know, Hope for Tomorrow is a fantastic small charity, essentially, really. So for us, it's absolutely about how we get every pound that comes in from that donor right back on, you know, to keep those wheels turning, really. And I've worked a lot with Tina and a number of the committees that we have and some new ones that we set up to look at the organisation and to identify and to support the charity, which does a fantastic job, to support the charity with our skills in, okay, here's how we're doing this. What do we think? How can we improve? What can we do better? What can we do more of? You know, we've worked on some fantastic marketing campaigns to get that message out there. We've worked on some areas where we've made some efficiencies to IT and some various systems behind the scenes. And all of these little incremental benefits really add up to making sure the charity can deliver, you know, more return really to the vehicles themselves and to the people who are receiving the care.
Yeah, and really help with our efficiencies. Yeah, it's great. And for a small charity, that's a massive impact. So we really appreciate all your support and all the support of our trustees. So can you explain a little bit about how COVID has maybe impacted or affected your business and how you've adapted to it? Because I know it's had an impact on ours. I mean, we've got busier, but I know that hasn't happened with every business.
No, I think it's been very interesting. Obviously, in terms of my business, a lot of our work is through the event sector. So we have had a dramatic impact through COVID, which is to be expected. You know, you can't put a lot of people in the field at the moment. You know, we work with a lot of the major outdoor events brands, and at the moment everything's just got cancelled for the summer. So that's a real impact to our business. We're very fortunate we have a number of consulting arrangements and various other bits and pieces which are keeping us ticking over. So we're very fortunate. But it's been fascinating to work with Tina and the charity as to how the campaigns that we've been running have been able to generate some return, which is a fantastic position to be in, with obviously some great donors and some really good support. Of course, we always need more, but it's brilliant to see how those responses have come in. I know especially the videos and the campaign video from Sean was really well received, and that really helped people understand, you know, how important it was that we continue to try and get as much funding as we can for the charity. So yeah, so for me in my business life, yeah, very big impact. For the charity, I think absolutely an impact, but thus far I think they've done a fantastic job of trying to encourage donors to keep the support coming, and long may that continue.
Yeah, and I think from our point of view, you know, the mobile cancer care units are needed more now than ever, because one thing that's come out of this is that, you know, the trusts are trying to get people out of the hospital, you know, the footfall through the hospital, and trying to protect the patients, because obviously they're very vulnerable. So by having the mobile unit, they're safe, they're in a safe environment, and sometimes this environment is the only place that they can go, because obviously they're shielding, so it's vital, so it's much needed. So
no, I totally agree with you, Leanne, and I think the fantastic opportunity for the charity here is to demonstrate to their NHS partners and those that they work with that the way we can deliver the cancer treatment here is perfect. You know, it's absolutely what needs to be in place. As you say, people don't have to travel as far. Those who are shielding can stay within the local area. You know, the vehicles can be cleaned down. It's a very sterile environment anyway. And of course, it's only being used for one purpose. So I think it's a real opportunity to demonstrate why Hope for Tomorrow is doing a great job. And, you know, it really fits with our, you know, approach and ethos. And I think that's fantastic. You know, it's a terrible situation we find ourselves in, but in terms of making sure that cancer treatment continues, which of course is imperative, then, you know, we're really fortunate that it's a good way to deliver it, and that's fantastic.
Brilliant. So I hear that you've had some really good news lately, and you've just become a father.
That's right. Yes, I've just welcomed my daughter Posey, who's joined us. A bit of a shock, as I know everybody who's a first-time parent will agree. Luckily, I gave up on sleep many years ago, so I don't miss it. That's not quite true. It's difficult. My wife is doing an outstanding job, because I find myself working quite a lot with the company and some work with the charity and stuff. So I'm probably not around all the time, and she's doing a great job of just dealing with everything. But yeah, she's beautiful, and I'm very proud.
Good. Well, give give Mum a big hug from us and say,
of course,
we know what it's like. So what's the thing you're most looking forward to then after COVID?
Yeah, so after COVID, I mean, it's an interesting concept, isn't it? I think the first thing I would say there is, which I'm sure, you know, I appreciate the question, is I think what we're looking at now is we're looking at a new phase in society. So there will always be an after COVID, but COVID will always have an impact, I think, on everything we do. So, I mean, when we can get more back into how we used to do things, I'm really looking forward to events. I know I would say that for my business, but I think there's a real mental health factor here about meeting people, and lots of people, and sharing an experience and going somewhere and, you know, enjoying yourself and relaxing and having a drink or whatever. And I think that is quite important. Certainly for a certain age range, it's absolutely critical. It's part of their growing up process, really. But even for those of us who are slightly older, it's absolutely something that I think we need. So I'm absolutely looking forward to that coming back. Where I'm still very nervous is about the economic impact. I mean, to me, it feels like we're still on the B of the bang. You know, we really don't know yet how challenging this is going to be, and I just hope that we can use the various programs that are coming from government and try and work together, especially to support the charity sector, to make sure that the impact is not too dramatic, because it is inevitable there will be a lot of bad news coming out in the short term. But in terms of afterwards, it's then how we recover from that. So, you know, it's about how we do we invest in infrastructure? You know, how do we get money back into charities? How do we carry on, etc. And I do believe we can do that. You know, absolutely.
Well, we have to, don't we? It's something we've got to take the positives and do what we can to pick things back up again. And I suppose that leads me on nicely then. So any advice to our supporters out there on how they can help us to keep going the distance and keep those wheels turning on our units to support cancer care?
Absolutely. Well, I think the first thing, as you said, is we should probably say a big thank you, first of all, for all the support we've had and continue to receive, because through this challenging period that has been outstanding, and that's not easy when people are facing difficult situations themselves. So that is incredibly generous and well received. In terms of moving forward, it's really, I know at the moment the major focus that we're working on with the other trustees is regular givers, and that's really, really important to the charity, because it just means that we've got the opportunity to plan and put together various different long-term approaches, of course, which we have. But the more regular givers we have, of course, that helps that position. So even, it doesn't really matter what that number is to an extent. It's just that regular commitment.
Yeah, any amount, and we know that people are struggling through this time. But totally agree with you. Anything that you can give to help to keep the wheels turning.
Yes, that's right. And then, of course, the other thing that which again we're very, very fortunate with is a fantastic volunteer program. Yeah. And those who can help and just give some time up to help on the units, or help fundraise, or even just retweet, or support on social media, or anything like that, it really does make a difference, and it really is very, very important. There's a huge amount of charities out there, or, as I said, all doing fantastic jobs, but it's a very social media is a very loud environment. So the more voices we can get behind our message, the more important that is. And I know we've got some fantastic volunteers. They do amazing work, and just getting more of those to be able to support the units would be, phenomenal.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Tom. Thank you for all your support you give the charity, and for taking the time today to speak with me and share why you go the distance for the charity. I really appreciate it, and have a lovely weekend. Enjoy your time with Posey.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.